Alex Eala begins another chapter in Philippine tennis history tonight as the Filipino star opens her 2026 Wimbledon campaign against a familiar opponent, Mexico's Renata Zarazua. Now, this is more than just a first-round match. It's a rematch nearly 2 years in the making. Back in 2024, Zarazua rallied from a set-down to defeat Eala in the quarterfinals of the W100 Carry Tennis Classic, handing the young Filipina one of her toughest losses.
On July 1st, 2026, on Court 12 at the All England Club, Alex Eala beat Renata Zarazua 6-1, 6-2. Her first ever main draw Grand Slam singles win. Hundreds of Filipino fans had queued from 3 in the morning just to be inside that court, and afterward, it took 3 security staff to walk Eala back to the locker room.
Complained.
You're meeting so many players, like Belinda, getting to practice with her. You've got the little, cool new folks club with you and Evilise and Alex Eala, and I saw Paula Badosa taking a selfie with you the other day. Is the clique expanding? Are you adding people to the cool kids group?
Listen, everyone's welcome. This is not a clique. We're not drama. So no, everyone's who's sweet and wants to have a good time, everyone's welcome. And I don't know, we're just, it's not too serious, honestly. Obviously, we're all competing on the court, but we want to have friends. We want to do stuff off the court. It's not like we know people in every city of the world that we travel.
That is not a normal escort for a second-round match. That is a logistics problem, and logistics problems do not happen by accident. They happen when something has already outgrown the plan built for it.
Alex Eala gonna get things started here in round number 1 on Tuesday. So Eala, as you guys know, home country of the Philippines, always behind her, has a big backing, a big following, so much support, and great to see from her because I'll tell you what, she's definitely earned it with the body of work that we've seen out of her the last few years. Talk about a nice up-and-coming talent here within the sport. Does she have the big power game? No, but she moves well. She never says die at any point. She tracks down every ball, extends rallies left and right. I mean, she is just very talented within that return game to extend rallies. And I'll be honest, she actually surprised me here within the...
So let's rewind. Quezon City, May 23rd, 2005. Alexandra Maniego Eala, left-handed, two-handed backhand, was training at the Rafa Nadal Academy in Mallorca by age 13, under a coaching team led by Joan Bosch. This was not a fast track. It was a long, unglamorous build. A 2018 Les Petits as title that made Eala the tournament's first ever wildcard champion, then a 2022 US Open Girls singles title, won without dropping a single set in a straight sets final against the number 2 seed, Lucy Havlichkova.
My also initial reaction is Alex Eala has got to be, you got to be happy with that first round, because for Alex Eala, think about some of these non-seeds that she could have played that I think would have been more difficult. I would say Kazatkina, as someone who has done well on grass in the past, would have been more difficult. Bianca Andreescu, a former Grand Slam winner and has already played 3 matches on grass in qualies this week coming through. I would say she would be more difficult.
But that's not where the fan movement started. That came later, and it came fast. March 2025, ranked number 140, Eala takes a wild card into the Miami Open and beats Jelena Ostapenko, then Madison Keys, then world number 2 Iga Świątek Mas Pau in straight sets before falling in the semifinal to Jessica Pegula. A few days later, on March 31st, 2025, Eala becomes the first Filipino player to break into the WTA singles top 100. Less than a year after that, on March 16th, 2026, she hits a career-high ranking of number 29.
For Zarazua, if that came on the clay, then I think we can pretty much dismiss it. And also if it came a couple of years ago or more, likely. It came on hard court, but it was 2 years ago, and it was in 3 sets. So the 1-0 head-to-head from that winning carry that the Mexican had, yeah. Maybe also Zarazua will get distracted by the World Cup ahead of this particular encounter, where Mexico, of course, are flying high.
Here's where the story stops being about a ranking and starts being about a crowd. During tournaments in Dubai and Doha, organizers noticed something they had not planned for. Ticket sales rose sharply whenever Eala played, driven specifically by overseas Filipino workers based across the Gulf. Not a general tennis crowd, a specific mobilized one. The WTA responded by moving her matches to center courts, not because the ranking demanded it, but because the crowd did. And at the 2026 Australian Open, her practice sessions were pulling bigger audiences than some concurrent main draw matches. Practice sessions.
Straight off the press, we now know exactly which court Alex is going to play on Tuesday. So Tuesday the 30th of June, that's a couple of days' time, we will have camped overnight for tickets, and we will be in, and we will be courtside with our camera facing the play, and Dan will be there doing some commentary, whatever commentary he can possibly do in terms of not being thrown out for being too...
This is where things shifted from notable to structural. The Philippines, a country of 120 million people with one of the largest global diasporas in sport, had never had a top-tier tennis figure to rally around. Eala became that figure, and the infrastructure of professional tennis built over a century around a very different kind of fan geography simply had no protocol ready for what came next. What came next was Wimbledon.
You know how the grass courts are going to work out for Eala in her game, right? But I'll tell you, it was a clean lead up to Wimbledon. I thought she did enough on grass to prove that she could definitely play on it, make some noise here a little bit, and with having that great support system, the confidence behind her, her ability to extend rallies and whatnot, I mean, you have to like her a lot within this early round matchup. I can't find anywhere where I could say, like, I don't know about Eala here. I like Eala's game a lot. I think she's having a very steady 2026. Now that she had that big splash like we saw last year where she made that Miami Open semifinal and beat Iga and pushed Pagul within that semifinal. No, but she's been making
Hundreds of Filipino fans camped overnight outside the All England Lawn Tennis and Croquet Club, some queuing from 3 in the morning to secure grounds passes at a tournament notorious for being nearly impossible to get into. They waved Philippine flags, they chanted her name. Watching from her player's box were her parents, Mike Eala, and former national swimmer Riza Maniego, alongside coach Joan Bosch and IMG manager Carter Lin, watching a crowd that had turned Court 12 into something closer to a home match than a second-round tie at the most tradition-bound tournament in tennis.
But since then, both players have grown. Zarazua is now 28 years old, ranked world number 75 after climbing as high as number 51 last year. She owns 3 WTA 125 titles, has Grand Slam experience, and reached the second round of Wimbledon last year after a dominant opening round victory. She also battled through qualifying in Bad Homburg before falling to Wang Xinyu. Now, ironically, Eala and Zarazua also became doubles partners at the
Afterward, Eala put words to it herself. Hindi ko inakala na ganun kapuno ang court ko kasi alam ko talaga ang hirap mang ticket dito sa Wimbledon. So very thankful ako. I was really surprised. The Filipinos keep surprising me and surprising me in good ways. I know how notoriously difficult it is to get tickets to this event. To have what I would call a full house of Filipinos is amazing.
Won at Wimbledon 7 times, and you feel comfortable on grass. Half the draw is psyched out by this surface. The awkward bounces, they don't know how their game really should be played. Serena knows exactly what to do. The serve still looked amazing. She's going to serve that way when she's 60, 44 now. And the return, her timing still looks good. So she'll come in, she'll throw in once in a while a backhand slice, but her game is all about forward and first strike tennis. She's going to be feeling the nerves too. The first few games are going to be very...
Alex lost to in the first round of a Grand Slam at the beginning of the year in Australia. Qinwen Zheng, if she's fit, would definitely be a trickier opponent. Barbora Krejcikova, the person that knocked Eala out in the first round last year, would also be a more tricky opponent for sure. I think big hitting players such as Panu Udvardi as well, someone who has beaten Alex, albeit on the clay in the past. Tomljanovic as well. There's still a very good player in there. She's obviously had a lot of health issues over the last couple of years. Maybe even Serena Williams would be more difficult in terms of the occasion and something that Alex might find.
That is not a scripted athlete soundbite. That's someone realizing in real time that this had outrun even her own expectations. But the fan movement is not just filling seats, it's moving markets. Eala's Instagram following has crossed 920,000 with engagement rates between 15 and 20%, well above the day average. That number is why Globe Telecom signed her at age 8 and never let go, why Babolat and BPI sit on her endorsement roster, and why Nike, a brand that signed her back in 2019, built an entire personalized full-bloom marketing campaign around her Wimbledon debut, down to customized hair accessories and apparel made specifically for this moment. And here's the biggest reveal, the one that connects straight back to that security escort on court 12.
And we will try and bring the scoreboard with us. But anyway, you will get live footage from us of Alex versus Zarazua on court 12. They are the third match on. Now that means they'll probably be, they start at 11 on the outside courts, so there will probably be 2:30. We'll keep you up to date in the posts. But whatever you do, pop a subscribe so that you can keep the up-to-date updates coming, and we will see you right there in Wimbledon with the flag.
That's what I said. Most people wouldn't be able to handle the 4-year break.
Yeah.
I think Serena will be able to. We'll see, though.
Well, you mentioned the intimidation of the draw. So let's take a look at her potential week 1 matchups, because it could get quite enticing if she's able to get through this first round.
Yeah, so Maya joined from Australia. I believe that Serena will get through that. And then I would suspect that it's going to be Alexandra Eala, the lefty from the Philippines, who just won a 125 on grass. So she's got 12 matches already under her belt this season. She also beat Rybakina. She beat Svitolina.
None of this? The center court reassignments, the practice session overflow, the overnight queue, the personalized Nike campaign came from a tournament plan. It came from a fan base that organized itself faster than the institutions around it could formally respond. The WTA moved matches. Organizers noticed ticket spikes. Security had to adapt. Every single adjustment came after the crowd showed up, not before it. Which raises the question nobody in the sport has actually answered yet. What happens when a fan base this large and this coordinated keeps growing faster than the venues, the ballots, and the security plans built to hold it? Wimbledon runs a queue system built for another era of fandom. The WTA runs a broadcast schedule built around traditional markets, and Eala has just recorded her first Grand Slam main draw win. If the crowd outside court 12 was already this size for a second round, what does it actually look like when she's deep in the second week? The PDFs don't specify. Nobody's had to plan for that yet.